We're also looking forward to, some very, very positive announcements from the federal government vis-a-vis the fuel scarcity. Dangote was still in the news. Everybody is waiting to see this commodity following his promises that it will indeed begin to be, to be shared out, so to speak, for sale, of course, across the country. But we'll wait and see how it all pans out during the course of the day. We begin the show this morning with the announcement by the federal government of its announcement of a 50% increase in the feeding allowance for inmates across Nigeria, with the new rates taking effect from last month. Now, this move is part of an effort to address the escalating costs of food and enhance the overall welfare of inmates. The spokesperson for the Nigeria Correctional Service, Abubakar Umar, revealed this at a news conference in Abuja, where he said the increase represents the first phase of a comprehensive review aimed at improving the living conditions of those in the nation's correctional facilities. He also says the adjustment wouldn't be the last, as the government plans to conduct further reviews in response to the continuing rise in food prices. And the federal government has since embarked on an investigation into the disturbing video that circulated just before this announcement of a 50% increase in the feeding of inmates. This, of course, as we followed, this followed the circulation of a video by inmates at a correctional facility in Cross River State. And of course, the inmates in that video shared or revealed how they were being given poor meals, poorly done meals, and all of that. And of course, this, shook many quarters, especially the Minister of the Interior, Olubumitunji Ojo, who has since, gone on to say that he takes grave exceptions to the revelations in that video, and has gone on to order a very robust investigation into all that went down. According to him, his administration, so to speak, in bettering the lives of inmates, which is aimed, as we all know, in the progressive countries, aimed at rehabilitation and reformation of inmates. And so this doesn't speak well, it doesn't do well to fit into the reform initiative of Mr. Olubumitunji Ojo.
Right. And it's actually, important to, reiterate the fact that, well, our correctional centers are really not at its best at this time, but more work needs to be done. It can actually reach the best of its potential when we look at other nations. And this is a good initiative. This is, part of the reforms that was promised by the minister. Well, for some that have also been raising questions about what the 50% actually means. I think a newspaper cited about 750 naira per day, and that will be about 1,500 naira per day. But when we put it side by side vis-a-vis the living cost, now the cost of food items at this time, how well would 1,500 naira actually, help feed an inmate for a full day? I mean, these are the questions that should be asked. But beyond just feeding, perhaps reducing, the overcrowded situation also in the prison facilities may also help, that place become more conducive, especially for inmates. I believe the Minister of Interior earlier this year also, tried to pay fines for some of those on awaiting trial, or some of those that have been sentenced, or those that had, just a fine to, to pay to leave the prison. This is an effort to address the crowded situation at this time. It's a good move, actually, but I believe more can still be done. When we're talking about the 50% increase, I believe we should be focusing on what that 50% actually means. Not just the percentage increase, but looking at what the average, inmates in the correctional facility actually spends on feeding today, and how much this will amount to, the 50% increase, how much this will amount to for that inmate. But he said that this is a first phase of a broader review, and so it's not just about an increase in the feeding. We'll also be focusing on other issues within the prison facilities, because it's not just a day discussion, but it's a work in progress.
Right, and the issue of accountability will also come into this kind of discussions because, yes, the minister has, ordered swift and robust investigation, but then there are also a lot of skeptics out there who say with this announcement of a 50% increment, it might as well go down the drains or go into the pockets of those that are not even meant to have it. So we expect that officials, not just of correctional facilities, but any government official that gets to handle monies, not for yourself, but for the average Nigerian. And in this case, this is a class of, not all of them are even offenders. Some, as you have said, are awaiting trial. And we all know how many, the majority of inmates across the country happen to be those who are awaiting trial. They have, their fate is yet to be determined by the courts. Yet they are the ones that are, taking up the chunk of the monies sent to the facilities for their maintenance. So how are these monies spent? Yes, the money may not be enough, because we're talking about, according to the minister, 3 million naira is spent annually, or spent daily, I should say, for about 4,000 inmates. If you divide that, that's about 750. That was before this announcement of a 50% increment. So you can just imagine 750 per day. That's going to be, how do you share that out?
Especially with the increasing cost of...
Right. Time will not allow us, to really, break and unravel all the layers of this announcement, because there is way a lot more than what we can say within the restricted time that we have. But we hope to have some more feedback, positive feedback, and also some more conversations around this.